Today, we will look at the gradual signals women give when they open their hearts to men. First, when a woman says to a man, "I want to meet you," it does not necessarily mean that she has decided to start a relationship right away. From a woman's perspective, it is much more likely that she is curious and interested in getting to know the man better, thinking, "I wonder what kind of person he is." Therefore, when a woman sends signals or directly suggests a meeting, men should avoid overinterpreting these signals and instead focus on how to comfortably continue building her interest. To be more specific, when a woman feels that she would like to meet a man, she is still at a stage where she is not yet certain. She is not yet ready to start a relationship, but rather wants to get to know him better through conversation, to see if he is a good match for her in terms of personality and interests. At this stage, women often ask a variety of questions. These questions can sometimes be trivial or everyday matters, or they can be deeper inquiries aimed at understanding the man's values. However, men often interpret a woman's questions or signs of interest as an immediate indication that she is already interested in them. If a woman frequently contacts a man and shows curiosity about even the smallest details of his daily life, he may become confident and think, "This is definite. If I take just one more step, we can start dating and rush into the relationship." However, if he confesses his feelings too quickly or acts overly excited about an uncertain relationship, it can make the woman feel burdened. This is because attraction does not always lead directly to romantic feelings. From a woman's perspective, she may only feel a mild curiosity, such as this person is somewhat intriguing. But if a man rushes to define the relationship emotionally, she is likely to create psychological distance. What women value most is whether a man is someone who will jump in too quickly at the slightest hint, or someone who can maintain a comfortable and thoughtful conversation. For example, if a woman shows a slight positive response and the man immediately speeds things up, the woman may start to worry, "Is this person too impatient?" Or get the impression that if I open up a little, he might easily take advantage of me. In short, men who rush things often end up lowering their likability. Some women may feel scared by the fast pace and step back, while others may feel disappointed, thinking, "I wanted to see his true self when I gave him a signal, but now he's changed." Therefore, if a woman shows interest or asks questions, the first thing a man should do is let go of the anxious thought, "I need to make a good impression." The stronger the desire to look good, the more one tends to lose their natural charm and instead adopt awkward or exaggerated behavior. If a relationship that was once comfortable and relaxed, where jokes were exchanged freely, suddenly becomes overly polite and serious the moment interest is shown, the woman may start to wonder, "Is this really who he is?" The initial charm she felt, such as his ability to laugh lightly, tease playfully, and maintain a comfortable distance, disappears, and she may lose the curiosity she once had for him. Let's look at an example. At first, they were comfortable with each other, joking around, and occasionally discussing their daily lives in a light-hearted manner. The woman might have thought, "This person is pretty interesting. I want to get to know them better." However, if the man starts to think, "She must be interested in me," and suddenly becomes cautious about even making a joke, and starts showering her with compliments and excessive consideration, how would she feel? From the woman's perspective, this change would be noticeable, and she might feel burdened by it. Eventually, she might start to feel, "It was comfortable at first, but now it feels awkward and burdensome," and begin to distance herself. In this way, when a woman expresses curiosity about getting to know someone better, many men tend to overinterpret it. This can lead to rushing into a confession or mistakenly believing that trust hasn't been fully built yet and trying to force the issue, only to be rejected. So, from a man's perspective, how should he interpret this situation, and at what point should he confess his feelings? Ultimately, when is it okay to decide, "Now I can express my feelings"? The criteria are surprisingly simple. Pay attention to the moment when a woman begins to actively ask about your inner thoughts or feelings. As feelings grow deeper, a woman may ask a man questions like, "This is who I am. What do you think?" Or, "I have this kind of personality. What do you think of that?" These are questions that reveal her true self. This signifies a step beyond mere curiosity, such as asking, "What are your hobbies?" It means she has begun to wonder, does this man truly like me? Would we get along well if we were to meet? Of course, at this point, it no longer matters who confesses first. Since there is already a certain level of emotional connection between them, the relationship will naturally deepen regardless of whether the man or woman takes the initiative. Therefore, when a woman asks, "I have this side to me, what do you think?" it is better for the man to express himself boldly rather than being overly cautious or hesitant. This is because this is the stage where the woman is solidifying her thoughts that yes, I would like to get to know this man more seriously. Let's break down this process a bit more. At first, the woman's interest is more curiosity than attraction. After talking with the man, she finds his humor appealing, his personality likable, and feels a desire to know him better. At this stage, the questions a woman asks are typically casual and lighthearted, such as hobbies, favorite foods, or what she does on weekends. She may also initiate frequent contact and ask questions like, "What do you like?" to express her interest. However, at this point, she hasn't yet reached the stage where she's certain she wants to get to know the person properly. Her actions stem more from a simple curiosity of, "I wonder what it would be like to know them better," rather than genuine attraction. Even if a man receives these signals, it's wiser not to immediately think, "This woman is into me," but to step back and assume, "It's probably just casual curiosity for now." Then I'll just keep the conversation going naturally as usual. If you rush things and confess your feelings too soon, the woman might think, "I haven't made up my mind yet. Why is he in such a hurry?" and feel overwhelmed or put off, leading her to distance herself. At this stage, it's best to maintain a friendly and comfortable atmosphere, answer her questions honestly, and show your true self as much as possible. However, if at some point the woman starts asking deeper questions, such as, "I have this side to me, what do you think?" or "What kind of style do you prefer?" questions that reveal her personality or values, the situation changes. At this point, the woman is no longer simply curious, but is seriously considering whether she and the man are compatible. Moreover, there is a high likelihood that she has developed the mindset to think, "If this man confesses his feelings to me, would it be okay to accept them?" Therefore, once this point is reached, it is acceptable for the man to take the initiative, and it is also not a significant issue if the woman expresses her feelings first. This means that an atmosphere has already been established where it would not feel awkward for her to say, "I have feelings for you, so let's try dating more seriously." The important thing is that both parties already have a certain level of attraction toward each other, and those feelings have been confirmed to some extent. If, at this point, the man steps back too much or acts casually while pretending to be indifferent, the woman may start to doubt whether he truly has feelings for her, risking the opportunity being missed. Therefore, if you feel that you have reached this stage, it is much more effective to confidently convey the message, "Actually, I've been thinking about you more seriously." In summary, the most noticeable characteristic when a woman expresses a desire to meet is that she asks various questions. However, if you rush to reveal your feelings at this point, you may overwhelm a woman who is not yet ready. Therefore, instead of rushing into a confession, it's better to maintain a natural demeanor, continue the conversation comfortably, and wait until she starts opening up about herself enough to ask, "I have this thing, and I'm curious about what you think." That moment is a signal that her curiosity is turning into attraction, and that attraction is deepening into a sense of certainty. A key point for men to remember is the time lag between when a woman starts with light questions and gradually reveals more about herself. If you rush into a confession during the initial stage of light attraction, she might respond with, "I don't know you well enough yet, so why are you bringing that up so soon?" On the other hand, if a woman begins to ask serious questions about her personality, preferences, or views on relationships, it is a sign that her feelings have already begun to solidify. At this point, men can also judge that it is okay to express their feelings more clearly. While the process of a woman expressing her feelings may seem simple at first glance, it is actually quite complex when you look deeper into it. What starts as simple curiosity gradually evolves into a desire to know the other person more deeply as conversations continue and the atmosphere becomes more relaxed. What men should do is not rush to confess their feelings when this small spark of curiosity is still unstable, but instead subtly and naturally show their charm to help the woman feel comfortable. This way, the woman will open her heart on her own and start wondering, what does this person think of me? And come closer. Finally, when a woman actively asks a man, how do you feel about me? That is the decisive signal. At this point, it doesn't matter who confesses first. Since they have already begun to connect emotionally, whether the man takes the initiative or the woman gathers the courage to speak first, the likelihood of the relationship developing into a romantic one is very high. Therefore, at this stage, it is important not to simply wait. If a woman leaves the door open but the man fails to notice or hesitates, thinking, do I really need to make the first move now? He risks ruining the well-timed opportunity. In conclusion, what the man needs most is to not overinterpret the signs of interest the woman is showing, but instead wait naturally for the moment when his confidence deepens while consistently revealing himself. The first signs of affection and interest from the woman are still in a light stage, so a hasty confession or forced approach could actually be a negative factor. On the other hand, when a woman starts opening up about herself and asking the man about his true feelings, there is no need to dwell on who confesses first. Instead, let the flow take its course and exchange feelings naturally. From that point on, conversations like, should we start dating more seriously, can arise naturally. Finally, men should always maintain composure when a woman expresses curiosity through questions. Don't assume that because she's asking a lot of questions, she's ready to commit, or rush into things thinking, this is my chance, and end up closing her off. Instead, answer her questions honestly and thoroughly, and once her curiosity has deepened, make her feel comfortable enough to ask, what do you think of me? By doing so, the light attraction born from curiosity can develop into something deeper, and the likelihood of it turning into a meaningful connection will significantly increase. That's all for today's story. Thank you to everyone who watched until the end. We at Dating After 40 will continue to share women's honest feelings and delicate emotions in greater depth. Please show your support with a subscription and a like. Thank you.